Get ready to uncover the most chilling side of Australia that few dare to speak about. Urban legends circulate widely, and what makes them truly unnerving is that many have recent accounts. Are these just old tales? Or is there something far more sinister lurking in the deserts, forests, and rivers? Mysterious creatures, inexplicable lights, and unsettling presences shape this terrifying scenario. The most intriguing part? Many people swear they've experienced these strange encounters firsthand. Are we truly ready to confront what we don't understand? If you're brave enough, grab your headphones, dim the lights, and wrap yourself up tight as we explore these chilling tales. The bunyip is a legendary creature deeply rooted in the folklore of Australian Indigenous peoples. Its name, translated from various native languages, is associated with darkness and spirits. The creature is surrounded by mystery and fear. While descriptions of the bunyip vary, it's commonly linked to eerie, treacherous bodies of water such as swamps, lagoons, and rivers. The bunyip is said to be a predatory entity that quietly observes its surroundings, waiting for the perfect moment to attack. Its appearance is among the most intriguing aspects of the legend. In some stories, it's depicted as a gigantic beast covered in thick, dark fur, with glowing eyes and sharp fangs. Other tales describe it as a reptilian creature with scaly skin, sharp claws, and a tail resembling a crocodile's. This variation in appearance makes the bunyip even more frightening, as no one can be sure what form it will take. No matter how it appears, it is always seen as a deadly threat. According to legend, the bunyip lives in bodies of water, hiding in their dark depths, emerging at night to hunt. Some say it favors human prey, especially those who venture too close to its domain. Over time, stories of inexplicable disappearances have been told, with fishermen and travelers near swamps vanishing without a trace. Indigenous peoples feared these waters, believing the bunyip acted as a guardian, punishing those who disrespected nature or sacred areas. Over the centuries, the legend of the bunyip spread to European settlers and explorers, some of whom claimed to see the creature or discover giant footprints near swamps. The fascination and fear only grew with these accounts. Although no concrete evidence of the bunyip's existence has ever been found, its legend persists, reminding us of the uncontrollable power of nature and the mysterious secrets hidden in dark waters. The yowie is one of the most well-known creatures in Australian folklore, often compared to North America's Bigfoot. This legendary figure is described as a massive, fur-covered being that inhabits remote and dense forests across Australia. Its origins are rooted in the traditions of Indigenous peoples, who spoke of a tall, hairy creature living in the mountains and forests, often distant from humans, but capable of violence if provoked. Physically, the yowie is described as a humanoid creature standing as tall as 3 meters, with long arms, large hands, and oversized feet. Its body is covered in thick fur, ranging from brown to black, and its eyes, often described as glowing or red, watch its surroundings with eerie silence. Despite its size, the yowie is known for being stealthy and elusive, rarely seen directly. The legend is full of accounts from those who claim to have encountered the yowie deep in Australia's forests. Many have spoken of feeling an ominous presence watching them, hearing heavy footsteps or strange growls, but never catching more than a glimpse of the creature. Some have even found giant footprints left behind, further adding to the mystery. Indigenous peoples viewed the yowie with a mix of respect and fear, believing it to be a guardian of the forests. They believed it would punish those who disrespected the land or disturbed sacred areas. While not typically seen as a hunter of humans, its presence served as a warning to respect nature's balance. In the colonial era, European settlers also began reporting sightings of the Yowie, particularly in the forests of the Blue Mountains and the wilderness of eastern Australia. Explorers and hunters spoke of hearing eerie, high-pitched screams and spotting enormous figures among the trees. Yet, definitive proof of the Yowie's existence has always remained elusive, fueling the legend and speculation. Today, sightings of the Yowie still occur, though they are met with skepticism. Whether real or not, the legend remains deeply embedded in Australian folklore, symbolizing the fear of the unknown that still lurks within the vast and untamed wilderness. In the ancient stories of the Kaurna people, who inhabited southern Australia, particularly the region where Adelaide now stands, there is the dark legend of Jilbruka. An ancestral being, Jilbruka is linked with both creation and destruction. He is both a cultural hero and a haunting reminder of the mysteries of the spiritual world. While his stories are passed down as moral lessons, emphasizing respect for ancestors and the natural world, Jilbruka's legend carries a tragic weight. His story is marked by ancient violence that echoes to this day, serving as a stark reminder of the power and consequences of actions within the spiritual realm. Jilbruka was a man of wisdom and justice, known throughout his community as a skilled hunter who had an unwavering respect for the land, its cycles, and the traditions passed down through generations. He understood the delicate balance of life and always acted with the utmost reverence for nature and its creatures. Among the people he cherished most was his nephew, Kulul Tui. Jilbruka loved Kulul deeply, as though he were his own son. Their bond was strong, built on mutual respect and a shared love for the land they called home. But this bond would soon be tested in the most tragic way. Kulul, in a moment of poor judgment, broke a sacred tribal rule by killing an emu out of season. Though it was an innocent mistake, the consequences were severe. Jealous and resentful of the close relationship Kulul shared with Jilbruka, his cousins seized this opportunity to exact a cruel form of justice. They showed no mercy, sentencing Kulul to death for his offense. In a brutal act of betrayal, they executed him and left his body abandoned on the desolate coastline, cold and alone. When Jilbruka discovered his beloved nephew's lifeless body, his heart was shattered. The pain was unbearable, and the depth of his grief transformed him. No longer the wise, steady man he had once been, Jilbruka was now consumed by a fury born from sorrow. He couldn't accept the unjust fate that had befallen Kulul. In his anguish, he decided to carry his nephew's body on a long, arduous journey along the coast, determined to find a suitable place to bury him and honor his life. As Jilbruka walked, his sorrow seemed to seep into the very earth beneath his feet. His tears, bitter with grief, fell along the path, and wherever they touched the ground, saltwater springs bubbled up. These springs, known as the Prote Springs, are said to have been created by Jilbruka's tears, forever marking the land with his suffering. Today, these springs still exist along the coast of the Fleurieu Peninsula in places like Kingston Park, serving as sacred sites where people remember the profound pain that Jilbruka endured. The journey was long, and with each step, Jilbruka's grief deepened. His love for Kulul and his rage at the injustice done to him mingled, creating a storm of emotions that would soon transform him in ways no one could have anticipated. After days of walking, Jilbruka finally reached Rapid Bay, where he buried his nephew with the dignity and honor he deserved. But the act of laying Kulul to rest did not bring peace to Jilbruka. Instead, his grief and anger reached their peak. In a moment of immense emotional turmoil, Jilbruka underwent a terrifying transformation. His body, once that of a man, twisted and contorted into that of a powerful and fearsome giant serpent. According to legend, this serpent, born from Chilbruca's sorrow and rage, still roams the land and sea, watching over the descendants of his people. His spirit, though trapped in the form of a serpent, is said to be ever vigilant, punishing those who dare to disrespect the sacred traditions of the land or who violate nature in any way. The serpent's immense, sinuous body is said to have carved out rivers and valleys as it moved, reshaping the landscape in its wake. Though Chilbruca's spirit remains trapped between the world of the living and the dead, his power is still felt. Locals speak of strange happenings near the sacred springs and other sites connected to Chilbruca's legend. Some claim that on certain nights, the air grows heavy, and a sorrowful whisper can be heard in the waves crashing against the shore. Others report seeing enormous reptilian shadows moving silently in the darkness, warning that someone has committed a grave transgression against the land. To this day, visiting the sites associated with Chilbruca is considered a serious and solemn act. These places are not to be taken lightly, and those who venture near them without proper respect risk invoking Chilbruca's wrath. His spirit, still tormented by the loss of his nephew and the betrayal he suffered, remains ever watchful. The people of the region understand that the forces of nature, embodied by Chilbruca's transformation, must be respected. The serpent that Chilbruca became is a reminder that careless actions can awaken ancient powers, and the tears that once brought life in the form of springs could just as easily bring destruction if provoked. The legend of Chilbruca is a story of love, grief, and respect, but it also carries a dark warning. His transformation into an immortal creature serves as a reminder of the unpredictable and often uncontrollable forces that govern the natural world. To the Korna people, Chilbruca's legend is a reminder that even the most profound suffering can leave a permanent mark on the land, and that those who fail to honor the sacred traditions and the natural balance risk paying a heavy price. The story of the Min Min lights is another of Australia's great mysteries. Unlike Chilbruca's tale of transformation and sorrow, the Min Min lights are a phenomenon that has fascinated and terrified travelers for generations. These glowing orbs of light, which appear in the remote and desolate outback, have been witnessed by countless people over the centuries. Their origins remain a mystery, and the stories surrounding them have become an integral part of Australian folklore. The Min Min lights are most commonly described as glowing spheres, usually white or yellowish, that float eerily in the distance. They are often seen in the vast plains of Queensland's interior, though sightings have been reported in other parts of Australia as well. What makes these lights so unsettling is their behavior. They seem to move with a purpose, sometimes approaching travelers who try to follow them, and other times they seem to follow those who wander too close to their mysterious glow. But when someone gets too near, the lights vanish, leaving behind only questions and fear. For Indigenous peoples, the Min Min lights were often seen as spiritual manifestations. Some believed they were the spirits of ancestors, watching over the land and ensuring that it remained respected. Others saw them as warning signs that something sacred had been disturbed, and that those who ignored the warnings risked disappearing, never to be seen again. These beliefs added a layer of superstition and fear to the phenomenon, making the lights more than just an unexplained natural occurrence. With the arrival of European settlers, stories of the Min Min lights continued to spread. In the 19th century, many travelers reported seeing the lights during long, solitary journeys through the outback. Some claimed to have felt an overwhelming sense of dread when the lights appeared, as though they were being watched or followed by something that couldn't be explained. Many who tried to chase the lights were left disoriented and confused, as if the lights were playing tricks on their minds. Even in modern times, the mystery of the Min Min lights persists. People still report seeing the lights in remote areas, and despite scientific efforts to explain them, whether through mirages, gases, or other natural phenomena, no theory fully accounts for their strange behavior. The light's seeming intelligence, their ability to follow or avoid humans, remains a mystery, fueling the legend that continues to captivate both skeptics and believers alike. The allure of the Min Min lights lies in their mystery. They remind us that, even in a world where science has explained so much, there are still phenomena that defy understanding. The lights, much like the legend of Chilbruka, serve as a reminder of the power and mystery of the natural world, a force that, despite our best efforts, remains beyond our full comprehension. Both Chilbruka's tragic transformation and the Min Min lights remind us that there is so much about our world that we may never fully understand. These legends provoke our imagination, inspire us to seek answers, and remind us of the deep and ancient mysteries that still linger in the vast, untamed landscapes of Australia. The Imperial Cave, part of the vast Jenolan Cave system in Australia, has long been a source of eerie tales and chilling encounters. One of the deepest and darkest parts of the cave system, it is notorious for the supernatural sightings that many have experienced. According to both tour guides and visitors, ghostly figures have been spotted wandering through the tight, rocky corridors of the Imperial Cave, their pale, ethereal light casting an otherworldly glow on the limestone walls. The figures vanish as suddenly as they appear, disappearing behind the massive stalagmites or slipping into cracks in the rocks. One of the most unsettling experiences reported by many is the sensation of a skeletal hand gently brushing their back. The immediate reaction, of course, is to turn around, only to find that no one is there. The cold, damp air of the caves, combined with their claustrophobic passageways and the oppressive sense of being far underground, heightens the feeling of dread that accompanies these supernatural encounters. Even though artificial lighting has been installed throughout the caves to modernize the experience for tourists, the dark and mysterious atmosphere remains intact, continuing to fuel the legend of the Jenolan Cave's ghost. Tour guides often share these eerie stories with visitors, adding a spine-tingling element to the adventure. While some believe these tales are nothing more than folklore crafted to entertain and thrill tourists, others, especially those who have had inexplicable encounters, are convinced that something far more sinister resides in the dark recesses of the cave system. For those brave enough to explore the depths of Jenolan Caves, the experience offers more than just a glimpse at natural beauty. It offers the chance to confront the unknown and to feel the weight of the mystery that has haunted these caves for centuries. For those seeking adventure tinged with fear, the Jenolan Caves provide an opportunity to face the inexplicable, to brush against the supernatural, and to wonder whether they, too, might feel that icy skeletal touch on their back. Whether the stories are true or merely legends, the spirit of the caves seems to live on in the shadows, waiting for the next visitor to venture into its subterranean world. Moving from subterranean caves to the heart of Sydney, we come to the tragic and ghostly tale of the Sydney ghost train at Luna Park. On the night of June 9, 1979, Luna Park became the site of an unimaginable tragedy when a fire broke out inside its ghost train ride, claiming the lives of 7 people, 6 children, and 1 adult. The fire spread with terrifying speed, catching those inside the ride by surprise. Among the victims was an entire family, except for the mother, who barely managed to escape but lost her husband and 2 sons in the inferno. The tragedy sent shockwaves through Sydney, and while the official investigation attributed the fire to an electrical fault, many began to speculate that something far more sinister was at play. Over time, supernatural rumors began to swirl, with many claiming that the spirits of those who perished in the fire still haunt the area where the ghost train once stood. Visitors and employees of Luna Park have reported seeing ghostly figures late at night, especially around the location of the former ride. Some have even heard the faint sounds of children's laughter or muffled screams as they passed by the area. One of the most unnerving elements of this legend is a photograph taken on the day of the fire, in which a mysterious man wearing a devil mask is seen standing near the children who would later perish in the blaze. The identity of the masked man has never been determined, and he was never seen again after the fire. However, the mother who survived the incident claimed that she and her family had encountered this masked man earlier in the day. She described him as unsettling, with an intense focus on her children. This photograph has become a focal point for theories that the fire may have had a malevolent, supernatural cause. Some believe that the masked man was somehow connected to the tragedy, while others see him as an omen of the disaster that was about to unfold. Today, Luna Park continues to operate as one of Sydney's most popular attractions, its iconic smiling face welcoming visitors daily. But beneath its cheerful exterior, the ghostly legacy of the ghost train fire lingers. Many visitors claim to feel a chilling sense of sadness when they pass by the area where the ride once stood. Others report that certain rides seem to operate on their own after hours, or that lights flicker inexplicably. Whether these occurrences are the result of lingering spirits or simply a manifestation of the park's tragic past, the mystery of the Sydney ghost train and the legend of the masked man continue to haunt Australia's urban folklore. Heading further north, we encounter the eerie and long-standing legend of the Hawkesbury River monster. The Hawkesbury River, which winds through deep valleys and dense forests north of Sydney, has long been associated with tales of a monstrous, serpent-like creature lurking in its depths. Known to the Aboriginal people as Mira, the creature was considered an ancestral spirit that inhabited the river, one that demanded respect and was feared by all who lived near its waters. According to Aboriginal legend, any disrespect shown to the river or its surroundings would provoke Mira's wrath. The monster was said to silently rise from the depths, cloaked in shadows, to drag unsuspecting people and their boats to the bottom of the river, where they would vanish without a trace. When European settlers arrived in the 19th century, stories of the Hawkesbury River monster continued to grow. Fishermen and sailors began reporting sightings of a massive, serpent-like creature just below the surface of the river. Some described the creature as having sharp fins and glowing eyes, while others claimed that it caused massive waves and whirlpools that swallowed boats whole. These sightings were often accompanied by the unexplained disappearance of boats and their occupants, fueling fears that the monster was very real. One of the most famous incidents occurred in the 1920s, when a group of fishermen mysteriously disappeared on the river. Their boat was later found adrift, with deep scratches along its sides, as though it had been attacked by something enormous. The bodies of the fishermen were never recovered, and the incident reignited local fears about the monster lurking beneath the river's dark waters. Reports of eerie screams echoing from the river at night also became common, adding to the air of fear and mystery that surrounded the Hawkesbury River. Despite numerous attempts by scientists and explorers to explain the phenomenon, some suggesting that large eels or crocodiles might be responsible, none of the theories have fully explained the strange occurrences and sightings. Even today, the legend of the Hawkesbury River monster continues to captivate the imagination of locals and visitors alike. Fishermen still report unusual behavior in the river's depths, and some even claim to have seen the creature themselves. Whether it's simply a tall tale passed down through generations or a real, undiscovered predator lurking in the river, the Hawkesbury River monster remains one of Australia's most enduring and terrifying legends. In conclusion, From the ghostly apparitions of Jenolan Caves to the tragic and supernatural tales surrounding Luna Park and the mysterious Hawkesbury River monster, Australia is a land filled with dark and haunting legends. These stories, whether rooted in fact or pure folklore, continue to captivate and terrify those who hear them. For those seeking a thrill, these legends offer a glimpse into the unknown, a reminder that even in the most beautiful and serene places, there may be something lurking in the shadows, waiting to reveal itself.